In this video, we're looking at problem 811 in your book, the present value of money. And the concept of this is pretty simple. We have a goal. We want to, after a certain amount of years, we would like to have a certain future value, a certain future amount of money. So we want to know what we need to start with. We want to know what our present value, or we want to know what our initial investment needs to be in order to have the desired amount at some point in the future. So once again, this first table right here, you can play around with and put in any numbers that you want and sort of see what happens. And then in the second one down here, make sure that you put in the numbers from the actual problem, so you get the correct answers here. The formula that we're going to be using is in your book, and it's the present value formula, where the present value, which is your initial investment, is going to equal the future value times 1 over 1 plus the rate of return raised to the power of the number of years, or the number of time periods, which in this case is years. So this formula right here is what I have embedded in the program, or in the spreadsheet. This up here, if you follow my cursor from here up to this address bar, you can see this is the Excel version of this formula right here. So this is when you know what you know what you want to have in the future. So we're going to, just for the sake of argument, say we know that 30 years from now we would like to have a nest egg for our retirement of $200,000. And how do we get there? Well, we have these choices of funds from lower rates of return to higher rates of return. And now, this isn't really part of the problem, but it is important to understand that typically when you get a higher rate of return, it also comes with a higher risk. So you're going to need to make a decision. You know, you want to end up after 30 years at $200,000, and if you only want to invest 19 plus, you can do that with this higher rate of this investment that has a higher rate of return of 8% annually. But it's probably going to be a lot higher risk. So the lower risk you take, the lower your rate of return is, and the more money you have to start off with. And you can play around and say, okay, well, what if I decide I can wait for 40 years? Because if you're 20 years old right now, 40 years from now, you will not be, well, you'll just be a little bit older than I am now. So 40 years isn't all that long. So I say, well, you know what? I can probably afford to start off here. So, but what if I wait? Well, actually, all I have is 19, or I don't know what I have, but let's just put in 40. Quit talking about it. And okay, so if we were willing to wait 40 years, we wouldn't have to put in as much to begin with, right? And if we could find an investment that paid a little bit more, say 3.5, well, that's also going to change. Then we only need to put in, let me do something real quick. So yeah, we see that's 3.5. So that would even make it a lot lower. So if we're going to go really long term, then half a percentage point for the annual interest makes a huge difference. If you could compare that one more time, if you compare 3.5 with 3, so that's a 50 we have to start off with, right? With 3, you have to start off with about 11,000 more. So you can see how the years and the interest rate makes a huge difference. And then obviously you might say, well, I really want more than this. I really want, instead of having, I think at that point in my life, I'm going to need 500,000. So if I can earn 3% over 40 years, and I want to end up with 500,000, what do I have to start off with? So we just simply put in 500,000 right there, and we can say, oh, I have to start off with 153,000. At 3% over 40 years, I will have 500,000. Now, and I just want to show you just one more thing. If we were to find something with just a little bit higher, with just 1/2 percentage point higher, we can see that 153,000 changes to 126. So, you know, that's why that you hear so much about interest rates, because over a long period of time, it makes a huge difference in your investments. Okay, so when you do this problem, make sure that you put in your amounts. These A, B, C, D are your future values right here, and then the annual interest rate is the same for all of these, 4%, right? Right, 4%, and then you're going to end up with a future value 15 years from now. So the time period is going to be 15 years right here. And then you should come up with the correct answers for this problem. Okay.